Hi everyone, I am going to share Tulliallan Nursery's Digital School Award journey with you. We were the first nursery in Fife to get this award in June 2019. So, as Catherine said, the first thing that you need to do is just sign up. Okay, this is the website. You sign up, put in a few details. I think a nursery, if I remember correctly, you need your care inspectorate number. But anyway, you're registered, you're on here, and the next part is to do the self-evaluation. So the self-evaluation is in 5 different parts, and within these you have some questions to answer. The first one, leadership and vision, it has 12 questions, but the rest are all about 7. So there aren't really that many, and you just go ahead, answer, see where you are. What I've done is I've taken some screenshots just to show you what it's like when you're in this self-evaluation. So you can see here we've got the 5 areas at the side, and there's a percentage beside them. This one here is green because they will all turn green once you reach 70%. Okay, but don't panic. I think people tend to score themselves quite low, but you just get in, do the self-evaluation and see where you are. So with each question you have 3 options, and if you go for the top option it will be green, this one's amber, and this one is red. So do the evaluation, see what areas you need to work on, and you just kind of start from there. You'll notice this little bit underneath here. It's giving you some ideas. This is letting you know what sort of evidence you will need to collect in relation to that question. Okay? So, when you get to the point where you are ready, you can see that it's all green at the side. And then this apply for validation button becomes green. Before that, you can see that you couldn't actually click on that. So if you come back to here, so when you're ready to go, now, the thing about it is you really need to have collected all your evidence before you get to this point. What I did was I sort of played around with what I had, what level I was putting us at, and I kept under 70% just to the point where I was ready to go, because when you get to that point, they will send you an email saying you are ready to apply for validation. So just make sure you've got all your evidence in place. So as you can see for this one here, it's telling you here, in relation to this question, these are the sort of things that you could have for your evidence. Again, a nursery is very different. It's a different kind of setting. We're not going to have stage plans, for instance. So what we did, we created a OneNote, and there's the question for this, and I changed, rather than it just being school culture, I changed it to nursery school culture. That's that first question. This is where I rated us, and then these were links to different things that could be the evidence that you would be sharing with your validator on the day they would come and see you. So again, I just had links that took us to our improvement plan, our strategy. This is another one, so it's a little bit blurred. Photographs, this was photographs of the planners that we had in the nursery. Again, like I said, it's different kind of evidence that you've got in the nursery. Again, photographs, this was about staff CPD. This bit here, you can't see all of it, but that was just an agenda for an in-service day, and I'd highlighted the training that we'd done. This again was just a photograph of staff, sharing their knowledge. So you have to have all your evidence collated, and when you're ready to go and you've got everything over 70%, you hit that button that says apply for validation, and then this is what it's going to ask for. So make sure again that you have these ready to go. Your acceptable usage policy, school technologies plan, and then this short statement, so a bit of a blurb about basically what you're doing and what you want them to know, how you're using digital technologies. And then you click on that and you will find out that somebody is coming to visit you. Now, what we also did was we created a sway because obviously in a nursery setting, you are not sitting doing these activities with children every day. You do need to intentionally promote a lot of the digital technologies and computing science, E's and O's, and those sort of experiences. And as much as our validation visit was going to be going on, where Catherine came out to see us, you don't know what 3 and 4 year olds are going to be wanting to do that day. So rather than rely on our showcase that day and expecting our children to perform, I created quite a lot, or I put quite a lot of our evidence into a sway so that it could be seen what we had done in the nursery. So I'm going to go through this sway with you. So this again was part of our evidence. This is what Catherine saw on the day as well. And that was also in our OneNote. So again, a lot of it is photographs, showing our displays. Quite a lot of children's voice in there. So, we used talking postcards. Again, it's just about realising that, that's something that's evidence. These are technologies that we were using. Our school website, I put pictures up about what we were doing on there about online safety. We were part of the Outdoor Classroom Day. And of course, quotes in from relevant national and local policies or documents that sort of linked to digital technologies that would be useful to have in. This is us up the woods using technologies. Smartboard activities. We would sometimes have smartboard activities, but children didn't go on the smartboard and do these activities very often in the nursery. We have this resource in Fife, the picked planners that we can use. So that was really useful. We also used that to self-evaluate and see where we were. And actually that really boosted staff confidence because they didn't think they were doing anything linked to digital technologies and computing science. But actually, when we did an exercise, self-evaluating sort of I can statements from this resource, staff realised they were doing a lot to do with particularly computing science when we were sorting and matching and following instructions. This was our acceptable usage policy or agreement with the children. So it was just, it's very different in the nursery. It's just basically our rules about being online. We have some children here using an app. Again, our children very rarely would be sitting on an iPad in the nursery. Technologies were used to promote curiosity, extend and enhance their learning. It wasn't just an electronic babysitter for children. So we use Chatterpix quite a lot. This is a really easy app to use for staff and children. And of course, the best thing to do is just to let children have a play around with it. We've got little videos here. They're not going to play because I'm on PowerPoint and I'm recording this. So for instance, I could tell you that actually this was a child that was then retelling the story of the very hungry caterpillar. But actually, if I played that, what you would find is it's a little girl singing Baby Shark. So it is from the children's interest, but again, particularly at this early level, it's about children just exploring with technologies and about seeing what they can do with it. ZU3D is something that we use to create stop motion animations. And again, it's in the nursery. It's, we're not teaching, we're not it's not lessons. So this was just set up and it was just then to see if any children were interested in it. And there were 3 or 4 children that loved it. We were doing about mini beasts at the time. So they loved just making their mini beast move. So it was great. And of course, so one of the great skills this teaches is patience because it takes ages to do it. More animations. We used Pivot. Again, just the children that were showing an interest in it. Book Creator app was something we used quite extensively. This is excellent. Again, very easy for staff and children to use, which is what we need. We didn't want it to be that what we were doing was another add-on and something something difficult for everybody. So for instance, this is brilliant. You can add pictures, writing, you can annotate pictures, you can record children's voices. So it's a really, really useful thing to use. Green Screen by Do Ink was a great success. So this allowed the children to really use their imagination. They loved being something different. They were great at picking the backgrounds. They researched on Google what they wanted in the backgrounds. Children then came up with the idea of wearing different clothes to help them get into character. So really easy to use. Again, though, what we found, it's not that every staff member needed to know how to use all of these things. You just need one, and then they're able to share that experience with other people. So you can't hear this, but these are the girls saying that they're spiders. Mini Beast was quite a big thing. We can see this one here. The boys had wanted to get dressed up as their favourite animals, and then obviously had chosen that background as well. Tulliallan Nursery shares a lot of information on Twitter. So again, I put all of this into the SWAY so that the validator, Catherine, could see quite easily, how we were using digital technologies. And of course, everybody now is going to be fantastic at this because we've been through 2 lockdowns. So really, everyone is majorly upskilled in this area. Codapillar was something else we were using in the nursery with the children. Lots of children's voice that we were putting into this SWAY, and our B-bots too. This was the children saying algorithm. You can't hear it, but actually this took quite a while, as you can imagine. It's a pretty tricky word to say. At this point as well, we'd started to use Microsoft Forms. And of course these are being used extensively now. Pic Collage is another app that you can have that's very easy to use. Again, for staff and children, it's a nice way to share information. It looks nice. The children loved playing around with that as well. And of course, SWAYs. We were using SWAYs at that point for all of our newsletters. This was a SWAY that we were collaborating with other nurseries. We did a little bit of research about what technology children were using at home. And of course then we had created our own rules with the children. But of course a lot of this is intentionally promoted within the nursery. And finally we just had linked it to Curriculum for Excellence. And these are some of the girls from our team at that point. So moving on, that was June 2019. We have had the 2 lockdowns since then. So, really we've moved forward quite quickly, and staff really gained confidence from this. But, they are using SWAYs now. It's not just that would just be me that would be using it. The staff are using SWAYs. We are now using Seesaw with the children. At the end of your validation visit, you'll get your report. And one of the things Catherine has said would be if, I'd hoped that I could use Teams with the nurseries that I was working in. And actually, people weren't too keen, but of course lockdown 1 came along and it was great because actually everybody then had to use it. So, we're all very good at using Teams now. Of course, you'll have seen that I had quite a lot of quotes from Building the Ambition in there, and we now have new guidance from the government, which came out in 2020, which of course has a whole section now in technology and sort of rings true with a lot of how we were using technologies in Tulliallan Nursery. It was with and through the children. It wasn't this, it'd been done to the children. We also had a care inspectorate inspection the following December, which we got excellent for. and part of that was to do with the work that we had done towards our Digital Schools Award. So it's also going to help in that respect. Since then, I'd created this online safety resource for parents for children aged 0 to 5. And of course, we are now using things like ThingLink and Wakelet moving forward. I am at a different school now, so I'm at Duluth Primary School, and I will be making sure the nursery gets their award as well this year. So I hope that has been of use to you, and that if you're in a nursery setting and you're thinking it's not really for nursery, it is. It can be done quite easily, and it's not as scary as you think.